All right, morning everyone. Welcome to another episode of Market Trading. I am your host, Tone Vays, working on a new office in an undisclosed location. And yeah, been moving around again quite a bit. Was at that Lightning event in Nashville, Tennessee, Bitcoin Park. Great place. If you're ever in Nashville, Tennessee, definitely check out Bitcoin Park and what Matt Odell and Marty Bent and Rob, what they built out there is super, super cool. The event was pretty good, met some good people. Might have picked up a few speakers for Unconfiscatable. We'll get their pictures up very, very soon. Speaking of Unconfiscatable, I'm wearing the shirt. All right, looks like the microphone problem is solved. The video problem looks like it's solved. Let me know in the comments if my audio or video is not clear, but I think everything is looking pretty good. All right, where to? Let's go to the charts. I haven't done a video in probably about a week. I think on, when was the last video? Maybe Tuesday? I don't even remember anymore. Let's just go to the charts. Nothing's changed. Completely nothing has changed. I could have like not done a video for like a month and nothing has changed. Other than we have less oil as the United States in a strategic oil reserve. Other than the depletion of the strategic oil reserve, nothing has changed. Let's go to the charts. And some people still think that's not important. It's really incredible. Okay, long-term outlook. Long-term outlook looks absolutely perfect, exactly like I predicted. Though I did predict two things. I had a 66% chance of getting it right. And I got one of them right. So far, we're in the summer. It's been 6 months since I drew this purple path. And we are on a purple path. I'm still anticipating one more month of complete useless consolidation, though it's not really useless. It's useless if you are a trader. Lima trip. I want to go to Lima. I really do. Pedro, I want to go to Lima. I wanted to go this year, but I don't know if I'll make it. Tried. And then I'm expecting a pop, and then I'm expecting a pullback before the halving, and then I'm expecting one more pump into the halving, and then I'm expecting one more pullback. So like the most frustrating rest of the year is humanly possible. It's kind of good. Like the CMF is still looking like crap, but at least it's moving in the right direction out of the toilet. So that's good. The MACD is the most promising. We have just crossed on the MACD. The MACD on a monthly chart has never been in negative territory. It is now, but I still want to wait for it to get out of negative territory and above the zero line. And finally, the RSI. The RSI on a monthly has never made it into the full oversold territory. This was the lowest reading the RSI monthly has ever had. And it does look pretty good. And we are rising up once again. All right, that's the big picture. I like looking at the big picture, you know, once every couple of weeks, and I haven't done a video in a while, so that was a good look at it. I gotta update that chart. Weekly chart, I guess let's look at the oscillator since I haven't done a video in a full week. The RSI is looking very, very good. I really like the bullishness of the RSI. We can draw one more line this way. We got like a hyperwave thing going on here. Should make it green. And the MACD. The MACD is slightly bullish. That's good. And the CMF looks very good. Very good. It would be nice for it to break above this red line. And maybe this was drawn on a different time scale. CMF doesn't usually change retroactively the way things like Elliott waves do, which is why I don't like Elliott waves. All right, come on, get out of here. There we go. And the weekly chart looks consolidated for a month. It's consolidated for a month. I thought we can make it up to 34 and then pull back. We did not. We continue to consolidate. So what do we do? What do we do with these arrows? Well, let's move the arrows along. I'm going to push this arrow along. I'm going to push this arrow along. And I'm going to push this arrow along, but I don't want to like alter what I've done before. So I'm just going to move this arrow this way. I still think we're going to push into 34,000 sometime later this month or early next month. And then we are likely to pull back, but we're not going to pull back as much as before. And then if we break above this line, we're going to break out big time. So I do have to extend the line some more. And finally, this is our 100% bullish allocation. This is why I try to enter as few trades as possible and try to enter as few trades as possible. We have not entered many trades this entire year. There's only been one bullish trade, and all we did was alter the amount of that trade. So in total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's been 6 months. There's been 6 alterations to the position. The position was doubled to 40%. Then it was fully allocated, and then it got reduced on 3 occasions, and then it went back to a 100% bullish allocation over not over, but about a month ago. June 26th, today is July 17th, so about 20 days ago. And hopefully we stay with 100% bullish allocation for the next, I don't know, year or two. But of course, I will be lowering that allocation. I will not lower the allocation just because the moving averages will cross. I will need to see lower lows. So basically, I will not get scared of the 100% bullish position unless the price of Bitcoin is trading below 29,500. We will need the price below 29,500 and a feeling that the candle will close below 29,500. Just having a single trade below 29,500 is not enough. I need to have the feel that it's going to close lower than that. So either we need to go significantly lower down to 29, or we need to be closing below 29.5 at the end of the candle. At the end of the candle. All right, I see the live chat is somewhat active. I will get to that in a second. Head on over to tonevays.com. If you are interested in trading, there's a free Learn Trading section. In the products and services, there are on-demand videos that they're not free, but they do go a little further in trading education. For those a little more advanced, can pick up the MRI indicator as well to help them. I use the MRI all the time. Another option for those super advanced is to pick up the options trading course, which is, for those that watched it, is absolutely incredible. Never had any complaints. The financial summit is coming back to the UAE. It's only about 5 months away. People are signing up and registering. We do have limited space. One second, I'm getting a call. I got a reply. Okay. We do have limited space. The event is only open to 50 people. We do need to update the website with some of the people that are going. There are no more pre-registrations with the deposit. At this point, people do have to, we have to lower the number of seats. It's not that many still available. That number is now lower quite a bit. I'll update that in the system. All right, follow us on YouTube. We will eventually start doing free content. Unconfiscatable is coming back to Las Vegas. Space is limited there as well, but it is open to 400. The poker tournament is open to only 100. So get your spot to both. The daily chart has been in this consolidation zone for almost a month. We got here on June 21st, and we have not moved. This was the day of the Ripple case announcement, where the judge said and wrote in the judgment some of the more stupider things I've written when it comes to read. I've written way stupider things, but because I can't write. But some of the more stupider things I've ever read when it comes to understanding scam coins. And here we are with Ripple, and we will see what kind of precedent it will set. For now, the price of Bitcoin is consolidating, and I'm expecting it to break out. I like the fact that the 50-period moving average is now at its highest level in a very long time, going back over a year, which is great. Same thing with the 128-day moving average. They are moving in sync. So let's see which way this goes. The 200-period moving average is also rising nicely. Everything is looking great. We are 100% bullish on alphanumerics as well. So everything is looking super good. Short-term chart could not be more boring, so I'm not going to waste your time with it. Now, here we are with GBTC. GBTC discount is all the way up at 26, even though we have been consolidating for a month. This means that people are gobbling up GBTC shares. And the moment we break out above 34, 35,000, I expect the GBTC discount to be within 20% of zero. So I do expect it to go up. Had a nice chat with David Bailey. I wish I can bring him on the show to talk about GBTC publicly to all of you. But unfortunately, he can't do that at the moment. And that probably means they are close to screwing Barry Silbert, which would be kind of awesome. And if this thing can get to zero faster and they can reduce their unreasonable 2% management fee. This is oil. Oil is above the range. This was obvious to me. This range is specific to the statement from the Biden administration that they would be purchasing oil between $67 and $72, but they would purchase it now and force the next administration to pay for that oil in the future, completely screwing the future administration, where the future administration would have to refill the oil supply and spend money while the Biden administration continues to deplete the oil supply and make money on it. So the latest numbers come out, and the Biden administration has only siphoned off 400,000 barrels. So as you can see, they have been averaging for the year, once they started depleting it, you can see this average. We can look in the bottom corner, and the average is 1,700 barrels. You can see the average is 1,700 barrels, but look what happened this time. This time, 1.7 million barrels was the average, and now they've only went 400,000 barrels. So they only wasted 1/3 of the oil. And this is completely reflected in the price of oil by only siphoning off 400,000 last week and not 1,500, which has been their average for the last like 3 to 4 months during this during these drawdowns. The price of oil has moved up and out of the range. So it's very, very simple. If you see the price of oil come back into the range where they swear, pinky promise, that they're going to buy these futures contracts and force the next president to pay for it, If the price of oil comes back into this range, I can almost guarantee you that the next number right here will be above 1 million barrels. If this number is closer to 500,000 barrels, then they will not be able to hold the price of oil down, and the price of oil will rise. So today is Monday. The numbers will probably be out Wednesday or Thursday. And to me, this has been the story of the last 2 years. For me, I don't know what it is for others, but for me, this is insanely important as the government continues to draw down. Here's how much oil has been siphoned off during the Biden administration. It's a total of almost 300 million barrels. And you can see it year by year. And this year, it has been 25 million barrels so far, which is more than 50% of what they did in year one, but significantly less than the midterm election year. And guess what happens next year? Next year is the big kahuna, the big election. And I think they're saving up to withdraw at least 100 million barrels next year to drop the price at the pump for the election. They can prove me wrong, but the current administration is the most incompetent, the most evil, and the most dangerous presidential administration not only have I seen in my lifetime, but potentially read, heard, listened to in the history books, potentially in the entire history of the United States. That's my overall opinion of the current administration in the government. I wouldn't really pay attention to the MRI tops on a 4-hour of the miners, because 4 hours is like half a trading day. It really doesn't show much at all. Okay. All right, let's get to some of your questions. Oh, no, traditional markets. I really like this pullback in natural gas. I'm just going to slide this arrow over. We're just pulling back into support, and I do think natural gas will pop to the upside into the depth course. Here we have gold. Gold hit an MRI buy. It rallied like crazy. Of course, it helped that Janet Yellen went to China. Why the hell did Janet Yellen go to China? It boggles the mind. Like, by the way, the incompetence of the current administration. Yellen, I think, is the most incompetent economist potentially in the entire world. In the entire world, I think Janet Yellen is potentially the most incompetent economist with a PhD. Like, I will take Rubini and Krugman in that position over Janet Yellen. I don't know how many times on Spaces I have stated that how incompetent Janet Yellen is. And the most incompetent person, not the most incompetent, we do have Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And Pelosi is no longer in the government, though we do have, Graham and Schumer and several of the others. And but Janet Yellen goes to China. Why on God's earth did Janet Yellen go to China? And of course, she doesn't know what she's doing or what she's saying. And the dollar crashes. That certainly helped gold rise. But hey, I was predicting the gold rise thanks to the MRI. The last time MRI was on a buy on a weekly, gold rallied quite a bit. That was a beautiful MRI. Why did my camera just turn off? Oh, weird. Okay, saw that. Show my camera like go to sleep mode. So, well, technically during this MRI, I would have been cautious and not buying it because this MRI happened in consolidation. I don't like MRIs in consolidation, But the moment this big candle started to happen and started to break that moving average, that's when I would have been bullish. But on this MRI, I was bullish off of the reversal candle the week before the MRI buy. A gold rally 25%, and I am expecting the current gold rally to go above the all-time high. Here's the S&P and the Arun. The Arun gave us an incredible trade. That's a beautiful trade by the Arun. It crossed over in the 25% category, telling us that we can be bullish on a weekly scale of the market. And it's all the way at the top now. What a beautiful call by the Arun. As you guys know, I really like the Arun. It's a crazy simple indicator. Now, the S&P is getting a little overheated. The RSI is pretty damn high. I would like to see the RSI trend break. You can see the RSI trend has broken. Wow, beautiful. Even if I don't use the crazy top, the RSI trend has broken. This is very bullish. It still has not made it, hasn't crossed the prior swing high. But you can see how beautiful the MACD is as well. To me, this is bullish. To some people, this is divergence, but not to me. To me, this is a very bullish sign. The S&P has one last hurdle. I think it's going to be very challenging for the S&P to go to all-time high this year. I wouldn't put it past it. I remain a bull of the stock market. I've been a bull since October, and I remain a bull here. That is an MRI top, but this is where it's very difficult to write a trading bot for the MRI. This MRI top came with a beautiful bullish candle, and I will take the bullish candle over the MRI top, and we already started trading up this morning. Therefore, I remain fully bullish and fully committed to higher prices in the stock market. Correlation, S&P is going higher, Bitcoin is consolidating. That's a great sign. You can see how the S&P has broken yet another high. And the moment it did that, it went higher. Everyone is in disbelief. The gloom and doomers are ripping up papers, breaking their computers because the market hasn't crashed the way they wanted. And gold is not $1 billion yet. And I will keep saying that the stock market is the best store of value other than Bitcoin. It is Bitcoin, and then it's the S&P 500. It has been this way for the last 100 years, and I expect it to stay this way for the near future. And then eventually, all of these American companies will no longer be American companies. And then the S&P will crash. XRP does not have legal clarity yet. But it looks shitty for those that actually believe in freedom. Get ready for a world of 1 billion shitcoins. I don't understand the XRP army. I don't understand it. They actually want a government-controlled currency, a centralized government-controlled currency. Somehow they think it's going to be Ripple. It won't be Ripple, but Ripple is centralized and completely controlled by a single organization. Like, I don't understand why people are so for Ripple. Like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. So the dollar has crashed, mostly because the Treasury Secretary doesn't know what she's doing, but she never knew what she's doing. Just wait till the budget comes out. Wait till the budget numbers are out on October 30th, and then people are really going to lose their shit. Because Yellen is just terrible. That is horrible. You can see how wrong this green arrow is on the US dollar. I still think the euro is going to implode and the dollar will rise. But right now, the dollar has certainly crashed. And it does have some support. The current government is so incompetent, it's hilarious. And yet the stock market is rising. So someone asked, how does MRI work on currencies? it doesn't work on currencies all that well because currencies tend to go in only one direction. Currencies tend to only devalue. So the MRI is not that useful. And MRI is useful in markets that actually go up and down. You can look at the Turkish lira, and we now have 7 consecutive tops on the MRI in the Turkish lira. Mexican currency has been doing incredibly well. I am bullish on the Mexican currency. I'm bullish on Mexico, and they do want to join the BRICS. So let's see how that works out for them. Turkey, we already looked at. The Indian rupee looks terrible and is ready for some devaluation. The Russian ruble has been devaluing as well. I find this to be a very interesting development. As you guys know, the Ukrainian counteroffensive has been happening for now a month and a half. It's really interesting if you pay attention to the Ukrainian counteroffensive. If you listen to the pro-Ukrainian channels, they are kicking Russia's ass. If you listen to the pro-Russian channels, Ukraine hasn't moved an inch. And if you're like me and you like to actually listen to both sides and use critical thinking, I will say that Ukraine is creating problems for the Russians right now, especially with last night's attack on the bridge, which they were able to sneak past Russian defenses. And they are creating a bit of a problem for the Russians, but they have not made any kind of significant advances. I think that the kill ratio between Russia and Ukraine in the last month has been close to even, which is a huge win for the Ukrainians because they were dying like 5-1, and now it's maybe 2 Ukrainians for 1 Russian. Way better than 5 Ukrainians for 1 Russian. I think Ukraine will run out of weapons and humans to continue on their path sometime in the next 30 days. And then there's going to be trouble for Ukraine. But for now, they are making the offensive is going better than I initially thought it would. Though, like I said, if you listen to pro-Russian commentators, Ukraine has actually lost territory during this offensive. They gained some territory in the south, but they're losing huge in the north. And it's very, very possible that sometime in the next 60 days, Russia is going to get the majority of this gray area back. I do believe that is likely to happen. I think there is a massive attack brewing from Russia in the Kharkiv area. Now, I personally, like, again, I'm not a military strategist. I just play one on YouTube. I don't think this should be the focus of Russia. I think they should focus on over here. I think Russia should take more territory along the border of which they have declared to be Russia. I think Russians should focus on getting the Ukrainians to stop bombing the civilians in Donetsk. Should be a bigger focus than trying to capture Kharkiv. So I don't really disagree with I don't really agree with the potential offensive on Kharkiv. And I also think if Russia is going to try to annex additional territory from Ukraine, they should focus on the Odessa region instead of the Kharkiv region, because that is actually creating problems for Russia, like using Odessa to attack their navy down south and the Crimea land bridge, not land bridge, but bridge. Sorry, I don't know why I said land bridge, real bridge. So I think it's a little strange, but hey, they're a lot smarter than me when it comes to military strategy. But so we'll see what happens. I think this is super important. Also, as someone that still pays taxes to the American government, you can see what is happening in Ukrainian economics by looking at the Ukrainian currency. This means that my tax dollars are paying for every single Ukrainian government employee. And once the budget numbers come out, you will see the disaster in the US budget and how much money Janet Yellen and the Treasury have borrowed against taxpayers is unreal. I can't wait to see the budget numbers. I have the spreadsheets all ready to go. Like I spent a lot of time earlier this year on these spreadsheets. This is government income going back to the 1940s, 1934. This is government spending going back to 1962. This is government spending by department. This is government spending by department right here. And this is me trying to figure out the calculation for net interest paid. This is literally me digging into the reports. It was crazy, guys. I hope I remember how I got to these numbers last time, but it was a mess. I may have to spend another 2 weeks trying to get back to these numbers. I'm not sure why I didn't fill this out. Weird. Yeah, I'm gonna have to review these spreadsheets. And this is by function. So this is also very, very similar data, but by function instead of by department. This is by function and by sub-function. I got to figure out which government reports this data is in, and I can't wait to fill out the numbers for 2023. They are going to be disastrous, absolutely disastrous. They're going to be on par with the deficit of the COVID year. And this time around, when they say 800 billion went to Ukraine, that's a lie. It's probably closer to 2 trillion has gone to Ukraine already. It's literally like a pit of burning money. And I expect the deficit, I have not looked into the numbers yet, and the year still has some time to go. And I expect the deficit to be a lot closer to the 2021 deficit, which if you round it, is closer to $3 trillion in deficit. That's what I'm anticipating because they removed the debt ceiling altogether for the next few years. This right here, this is the big kahuna right here, net interest. Net interest is going to be the way I am focused, laser focused on the depletion of the strategic oil reserve for the short term. Biggest risk to the United States in the next 3 years is the depletion of the strategic oil reserve. That's the biggest national security risk. If you zoom out and you look at what is the biggest national security risk for the next 10 to 20 years, it is this. It is this line item, net interest. Net interest is the biggest national security risk for the United States. It is not a government department of net interest. Net interest is part of the Treasury Department. And guess which troll is in charge of the Treasury Department? Yes, you guessed it. That is Janet Yellen. Net interest is a product of the Treasury Department. And calculating net interest was something that drove me completely insane for over a week. And I can't believe I'm going to go through it again because I already forgot how I managed to calculate it from scratch. And these are all the resources I have to go through to figure it out. All right. So here's how you know Ukraine lost. Right here. When you see this candle repeat itself. You see the US government couldn't contain the Ukrainian currency. This can only be contained if the US government is paying every Ukrainian employee their salary. US taxpayers are paying every single Ukrainian government employee their salary. Every military person, every government employee, every notary, every single person that gets a paycheck from the Ukrainian government, including $1 billion to the big guy, $1 million to the short guy, Zelensky, it all goes right there. Okay, you can see it in their currency not moving. The moment you get another one of these candles, it's probably over. Do you think investment companies like BlackRock take their investors' money out of 30,000 and risk it? I don't think they want to lower the profit of their customers. I think that was an answer to somebody else. Don't you think that since central banks buy most of the respective government bonds, so technically no country needs to worry about defaulting, as they can just print and pay themselves? No, that's not true. Mr. Gupta, that is not true. The problem is, here's the problem. Once again, the problem is net interest. This is still a problem. Last year, it was 475 billion. This year, I believe it has a chance to break 600 billion. Okay? And in a year or two, it's going to be 1 trillion. The problem is that even if you pay 1 trillion to yourself, when you look at a pie chart of where is the US government spending their money, see, human resources, $4.7 trillion. Okay, human resources is all of the healthcare and stuff. I colorized it for people. Human resources is these departments. Okay, these departments combined is 4.7 trillion. I'm pretty good with Excel. And by the way, this was not easy. They break this down like in an insane way. And then I broke it down by sub-department. Okay, so these are all of your human resources. Okay, Social Security is a big one. Income security, that's your Medicare. And then you have, I don't know why Medicare is listed as income security. I'm sorry, it's not. It's Medicare. You're right. It's not income security. That would be stupid. Medicare is Medicare. Also Social Security is Social Security. And then you have Medicaid. Where the hell is Medicaid? There's somewhere. Health, here. Health services. That's Medicaid. That's Medicare. I don't know why they have it in different categories. To me, that's freaking annoying. Healthcare is healthcare. But or you add up all of these numbers, and that's 4.7. Like I double and triple check my math. This took me a while. I don't know who else has spreadsheets like this. Like I really took my time. And when this line item, this one silly line item right here, net interest, when this line item of net interest right here starts to go to 1 trillion, and then 2 trillion, and then 4 trillion, explain how on earth is the troll of treasury gonna stand there on the podium and say, we had to borrow $8 trillion in debt to pay the Federal Reserve. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. Okay? The United States will be a clown show. It will be a clown show. You have these items right here, and then suddenly this line item is greater than all the other line items combined. And even if you pay it to yourself, you will not be able to get the money. You will not. It's like, imagine borrowing from your 401k, and you borrowed so much from your own 401k. Let's say you have $1 million in your 401k, and your broker was dumb enough to lend you $10 million against your $1 million. And now you have to pay that back even to yourself. You don't have the money to pay yourself what you borrow. How do you think Russia has changed from pre-1991. Guys, Russia is nothing like it was pre-1991. Russia was a communist country pre-1991. Russia is not a communist country anymore. Russia has changed from 1997 just as much as it's changed from 97 to 91. Russia went through a 10-year period of complete capitalist, let's say, the first 10 years of Russia after communism was not the best time for Russia. It went straight from communism to capitalism, and corruption went rampant. The thing is, Ukraine went through the same thing, but it never actually changed. Like, Ukraine remained as corrupt as Russia was from 1991 until 2000. Putin actually helped Russia back on a better path. But Ukraine remained this corrupt capitalist state, and eventually got taken over by the United States. And here we are. Like, you couldn't even decide where you wanted to live before 1991. Like, Russia is completely different. Like, it's nothing like it was pre-1991. This is all of the raw data that I used to put together those spreadsheets. But anyway, let's get back to the charts. I can't wait for the fiscal year end to see the government numbers. All right, I'm going to be wrapping this up. There were some good questions earlier. I do want to look at Tilray. Tilray doesn't look very good. See, one of the problems is in the last 30 years, Ukraine got more and more corrupt with every passing year, and Russia, like as of 1991, Russia and Ukraine were both like increasing in corruption every year. And then after 1991, that was like the peak in Russian corruption. And then Russian corruption turned the corner and started to decrease. And Ukrainian corruption just kept going and going and going. And then during the reign of Biden as vice president and now president, Ukraine corruption just went on steroids. But Putin ended a lot of the Russian corruption. Tilray, I wouldn't jump into it yet. JMIA coming up on an MRI sell. Oh, I'm on the FX watch list. That's why my notes aren't showing up. Let's go to stocks. Tilray. Yeah, I wouldn't jump into it yet. And JMIA, I think I'm in a bullish trade. I would stay with the bullish trade. MRI sell coming up. It's at resistance. You can take some profit. You can raise your stop loss. Looks great. What about the miners? Whoa, look at Bitfarms. Absolutely beautiful. It is on an MRI warning candle. It's coming up on resistance. If you're in Tilray, the green star told you to get back in, and it's been amazing trade. Thought I saw some comments earlier. I don't want to explain XRP. We'll try to do a law show on YouTube. Why doesn't government sell its real estate, which is not important for national security and pride, when it's about to default or just reduce its debt? The government doesn't have that much real estate. The government has only land that is actually useful, like the land with oil on it, national parks. The government will eventually have to sell its real estate to China or Russia. I mean, Russia might buy Alaska back one day. We'll see. What people have to understand is this is a world map. This is a world map. I know a lot of millennials watch me. This is a map of the world. Every single day, one of these borders, one of these lines on a Google map, it doesn't matter. There is a line on one of these lines, the border between nations. They change every single day. Every day, some border between two countries changes on a map. They always change. These are not immutable Bitcoin transactions. These lines are always changing. At the moment, the one everyone cares about is the border between Russia and Ukraine. There are even parts on a map that no one owns. There is land that no one owns. Liberland is one of those. Okay. There is another one. I forgot which two countries. Is it like here between Sudan and South Sudan, I think? Here's a disputed border. Okay. These lines on a map are always changing. Okay. Dashed lines usually mean disputed borders. Okay. India and China have a disputed border. Somewhere over here. Okay. That's a disputed border. And these lines are always changing, and they're always going to be changing. So eventually, when the US breaks up, and it will break up because the lines are always changing. I heard half of Oregon wants to be Idaho. They're smart. Russia sold Alaska to America. And in 100 years, we'll see what happens to this border, right? If America goes broke and America breaks up and Alaska is on its own, Alaska becomes its own country, and they piss off their neighbor because they don't want to work with their neighbor, like Ukraine. Let's see how they're able to defend themselves if they're their own country and there's no one from here coming to help. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. Borders always change. They always have, and they always will, especially when the World Economic Forum gets their wish and lowers the population to 500 million people. Good luck defending the borders then. Borders will always change. You have to accept it, understand it, and live within the reality that borders will change. How do I get on that topic? So why doesn't the United States sell real estate? Well, they don't have to yet because they can still print US dollars that everybody uses. But eventually, when they're no longer able to do that, they might just have to sell Alaska back to Russia. How do you, no, CleanSpark, is CleanSpark publicly traded? Do I have CleanSpark here? Yeah, there it is. There's a $2 stock coming off an MRI buy. Beautiful. Looks great. Looks very bullish. MRI sell up here. Ownership of land is the function of the government. The government decides whether you own your land or not. The guy with the biggest gun, the guy with the best weapons, decides whether you get to keep your land and whether you get to own your land. The only thing you actually have possession of is your Bitcoin. That's why it's unconfiscatable. Why did Erdogan give Azov leaders back to Ukraine? That is a very good question. I don't know. I can speculate as to why. I would like to talk about that subject. I can speculate as to why he did that. Some people will have no idea what I'm talking about, but oh, my camera turned off again. Why did my camera turn off? The weirdest thing. All right. Let's look at, oh, the inflation numbers came out. But they came out last week. This week, nothing is out yet. Let me see. If I go back, will it show me last week's numbers? It won't. That sucks. Oh, well. So let's see where we stand. The Federal Reserve is still going to raise rates with a 96% probability that the rates are going to go up. That is interesting. And the stock market is still rallying. That's great. All right, questions. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about Erdogan. I do need to get going in a few minutes. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about Erdogan giving back the Azov, I can't say the next word, fighters back to Ukraine. Which he said he wasn't going to do, but he did. So he went back. He must have really pissed off Putin. We can look at the XRP token. Shitcoins. Let's look at the mother of all shitcoins and see how it's doing. That is Ethereum, and it is not looking good. It's right at support. I really thought Ethereum had a chance to bounce, and we will see. If Ethereum goes down earlier than expected, that's weak, super weak. The anonymous shitcoin is not doing well. Litecoin's halving is coming. Litecoin is going to devalue 85% after the halving, like it always does. It's amazing how many Litecoin bag holders there are. It's really incredible. What are you? Why is my camera shutting off? It's the weirdest thing. I don't know. I give up on technology, guys. I give up on tech. Give up on tech. So Litecoin is going to devalue let me fix this line. Litecoin is going to devalue 85%. The halving is probably next week. Who knows? Who knows what day Litecoin halving is? My camera can't be on. Like my camera has like gone into sleep mode. Now my camera's back. I turned it back on. So I don't know, like I have to lower this, right? Like the 85 drop will come from a lower spot. And it is going to drop 85% from the halving. 85. I don't know what you people are clinging to. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, why on earth do you people think that Litecoin has any use case whatsoever? Oh, crap. I got to take this call. All right, guys. I'll a quick peek at Ripple, and then I got to call somebody back. Yeah, this won't last. When in doubt, zoom out. Eventually, it's going to go down. But this candle kind of screws things up. All right, I got to go. Talk to you all on the next one. Bye, guys.